Hello everyone, this is Jay High from Couch and Keyboard, and here I am again with another mid-tier report. It's been a little bit, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a pre-GOML portion, as we can see here, and then a GOML portion, which had plenty of happening. So as you can see here, we got a lot of stuff for most of the characters, a few of them not featured, but had a lot of Luigi, Pikachu, Ices, even a lot of Samus too. Let's go ahead and get into it. So this one, URCC in New York, it wasn't that stacked. Ultimate, had Zombo and stuff, but for this, I mean, you had a decent amount to where you had Daniel winning it, beating a Samus and a Sheik. Good stuff, Daniel. Shout outs. He won our Yoshi giveaway for our best across all series. But across all games series. We also had a Samus getting third, and a Pikachu getting fifth. Zach has been kind of on the come up, doing pretty good, and then getting fifth place pretty narrowly. So good stuff there. Again, this wasn't super stacked. Sometimes convention tournaments aren't always that top heavy, but that's cool. Patchwork. This is an event I always love watching. I'm from North Carolina. So I'm familiar with some of these players, and we had a decent amount of low tiers. We had earlier Chanel, formerly Shenron, a guy I would play against a few times. Pretty good Game & Watch, had a decent run here. You had Travy making it out, and then you had Zimberfizz, who Swaggerby had a pretty good pre-local. So good win from Zimberfizz, getting top 8. He had some Mars down here, barely beat him out. But Moth able to get third place, losing to Salt, taking a game. Rat Monster, of course, getting a Ginger win and a Moth win. That's some good stuff. And then going super close with Salt. I mean, this grand set was super duper close, but didn't quite get that one. I think even if you reset the bracket there, you're like, okay, I finally got on the board. That's a big deal. Even if you don't get the difference of prize money, that one set matters a lot. This one was kind of a funny event. Maybe there's a chance that people didn't necessarily take this quite as seriously, but I still think it's worth paying attention to. Kuro did benefit from a DQ, but got 4th place here, and that's pretty good. Like Saucy Meat also resetting the bracket, or excuse me, getting to winner set of grands, and did lose to Electroman, but this is good. I mean, we're seeing some mid-tier action in New England, so good stuff. And they had a hot dog eating contest while they did it, so good stuff. Europe has been a little bit quiet, but we've seen a little bit here. Namely, Magi beating Professor Pro. It's pretty good. Now I know you can say that Professor Pro is pretty much retired, but I mean, like, it's still good. And you have a pair of Falcos here, but you also have a Samus. Shout out to Europe actually having a Samus. That was a meme way back in the day that, a lot of the European players weren't good against Samus, but, mainly Leffen, I guess. But yeah, so good stuff to them. There's a few other people. I think, what was it, Skullbro? Maybe I'm thinking of Skullbro at a different one. But even like Lud King had a decent run here. Rash Attack, the Doc. So we're seeing a fair amount of people, trying stuff out. Luigi is a popular one. You see here multiple Luigis. But Minnesota Monthly Melee, they had a Mega one, and it was pretty kind of fundamental in terms of a lot of the characters. We've seen Benga Luigi in the past, but we did see a little bit of characters being tried out, but that's how it goes. The house parties for Eggdog, instead of doing a large invitational, they've kind of just been doing smaller ones, kind of like how it was like SoCal Star League, and I like how they do it. I think it's great. And this one was pretty nuts. Dark Gen X beat Sunsei and Aklo back to back. Did lose in grands, but that's a big deal. And technically, Ice Climbers is classified on here as a mid tier. Some people disagree with that, but especially with that wobbling, I think it's fair. And yeah, I mean, two of the best species to ever do it. That's a big deal. So good stuff. We have a pre-local here for melee on the or melee at the elm. We had Kuro entering again, beating Gambit's Yoshi, also green statch, doing pretty good with Luigi and Rat Monster, beating Zamu twice, also Calvar, pretty good stuff there. And then melee at the elm, this was doubles, which was also pretty mid-tier heavy. But final bracket of melee at the elm had so many mid-tiers. It was crazy. Now you have Luigi and Pikachu in Grands, which OKP taking a set of a Rat Monster, a pretty big deal. We have Daniel up here, green statch. 3 mid-tiers in top 4. That's, pretty surprising. Exactly another good run. Green statch. You also have Saucy Mane, Succulent, Downy. Like, I think there were 5 Luigi's in top 32. That is nuts. So it's 1, and then 2, and then 3, or that's 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 Luigi's in top 32. That's crazy. Kuro also making it out, beating beating Saucy Mane to get to top 16. Good stuff. Gambit getting 17th. And yeah, so that's pretty impressive to have 5 Luigi's in top 32. But yeah, and 2 Pikachus. Yeah, 2 Pikachus in top 12 even. So yeah, we're seeing a lot of character diversity in New England. So good stuff to them. Crew was a pretty stacked event. Josh Man didn't do too hot. He was winning Falco here. Who knows how much you want to count that. But you have Moth kind of losing early, but bouncing back. Silver, the Samus, another Samus down here, Ganon, another Samus, Link, like a little bit of Zelda. We're having a decent amount of people trying different characters and not necessarily getting pigeonholed into only going their their one character. Rat Monster beating Magi, and did lose to SCJ, which we saw earlier in the year, Sunset Melee. But Moth able to beat Aklo and Josh Man back to back. We're losing to Rat Monster again. Rat Monster is very good in the Ice Climber matchup, undefeated against Slug currently. So yeah, that's how it goes sometimes. But able to get back to second, and SCJ, back into form. Here we have Lop getting 7th place at the July house party for Oregon, or I guess Washington, but usually they get Oregon people up there. And you have Kamaster going some Luigi, beating Stewed, and still getting a top 4, beating Jello the Falco. So good stuff there. And the Construct, we had a pretty interesting Doc in Winter Grands. Did lose to O'Reilly twice, but good stuff there. Seamus Aaron, I've seen a few times. Also, another Doc. What was it? Able to get 9th place, and then Grab to win, getting 7th. Seamus Aaron getting 5th. We're just having these mid tiers kind of sprinkled in throughout the bracket, and yeah. So here is what we have: a decent amount of also at Uncapped, the MDVA tournament. Frostbite had a pretty good run there, and yeah, you have like I forgot to open Garden Brawl. Let me do that one real fast. Garden Brawl. Yeah, that usually has a decent amount. Yeah, Kevbot was able to win it. But we did see, a decent amount lower in the bracket to where we had, you had your Sheik, your Marth, your Spaceys, but we also had lower down Bond getting 9th. Zach and Blesse also getting 17th. Daniel, a little bit unfortunate there. Seabass getting 25th. So we have them here. Halo getting 25th. Can't always win them all, but they're showing up, and this was it wasn't super top heavy, but there's a lot of top 50-ish, top 100 level players here, and so you have this is a classic regional with 20 different potential winners. And so I think it's pretty interesting to just kind of see how that all plays out. And so for Rat Monster, I was tracking top 30 wins, or wins against last year's top 30, which he's 28, so he can't win against himself. But he had not previously had wins on Ginger, Magi, Moth, and Zamu. Now some of them because they hadn't played before, but some of them because they were losses, and I think had a loss to Ginger. And so being able to beat Ginger and Magi at, Ginger and Moth at Patchwork, Magi at, Crew, and then Zamu and Melee at the Elm and the pre-local previously. I think that's a big deal. I think it's cool to see, continuing the consistency and not just, farming Zane or farming foxes, whatever. Like it's good to see some diversity of skill in certain matchups. And then now we have Gotmel. We have, it was what? 512 entrants, I think it capped there. But we see a decent amount. So let's go ahead and get into it. We had a pre-local here. Not too heavy on the mid tiers, but we saw J-Chu taking a set off Aklo and getting to set 2 game 5. So good stuff there. I4 went a little bit of Zelda apparently. So that's pretty interesting. Not super top heavy. I mean, you have none Aklo. After that, kind of drops down. You have Toffee, the Link. You have Skullbro, the Doc, getting 13th here. Carmite, the Samus. So we're having some Samus reps. So good stuff there. And then Gommel was pretty stacked with mid tiers. A lot of them doing very well. I went to 256. I'll show it real fast if you want to find someone that had a good run. But I'm going to focus on top 64 just because there was quite a bit. So you have Axe, unfortunately, getting 49th. Didn't do too great. Zemi having a pretty good win. Who did Zemi beat? Juicebox, I think? Yeah. So Zemi able to beat Juicebox and the Asian one to make top 64. Saucy Main, top 64, good stuff there. I think didn't beat Fred Melee? That's a pretty good win, especially Fred Melee just had a pretty good win in MVVA recently, coming from the UK. So good stuff there. You have Kuro getting top 64 with a KJH win, that's a big deal. Forox had a pretty good run, beating Squid and Grab. That's pretty nuts. You have Green Statch getting 33rd. Good stuff there. Dial M 25th, losing to J-Move. That's tough. Also lost to Aklo. 2 top 10-ish players. Definitely not bad. Didn't really get a ton of good wins. Although I think this is Eric. This is a solid win. It's a weird name, but yeah. And then Forox in 25th. Good run there. Slug was able to keep going. J-Chu was able to beat Rishi. Good to see there. I think that Rishi... I don't know how much Rishi has necessarily been involved in the metagame with Zane and all that kind of stuff. I'm sure Rishi has Pikachu experience, so that was good. J-Chu probably has Equilateral and a few other Mars experience. Also just plays online a ton. But Morse Code didn't have to play Magi, which I think Morse Code probably would have preferred to play Magi just to get that good win. But beat Palpa, good stuff there. Lost to H-Box, we've seen that. Then lost to Spark. This one was super close. I watched this one. It was super, super close. Morse Code has beaten J-Move twice before. So it has beaten Sheiks, but this one just didn't quite work out. We have Slug beating Swift. Swift trying to go after losing Moki pretty solidly. Beat Inky, that's good. Inky has had a good year so far. Swift coming off that Cody win. Genesis did not quite get that Moki win, which Moki has a pretty good record against Axe, I believe. So I think that Moki is really good in the matchup. Swift trying to go, not peak Ices. Apparently, that's pretty bad. Seems to be the consensus. Also, Frostbite. We have multiple Pika into Ices. I think J2 also tried Fox. So, you know, the poor man's Fox, you know, trying to switch out for the actual Fox didn't quite work out. So we have multiple Ices in top 16. Seabass beating Magi. I just watched this. I think Lucky Stats uploaded it or whatever. And yeah, I've seen a lot of Doc versus Spaceys. Divot went to my locals for a while, and Corgi would play Fox and some Falco. And I didn't realize how good Cape was. I think it was assumed to be so slow and lasers would be so fast, but it's a pretty lenient timing to get the reflect. But yeah, Seabass able to get top 16. That's huge. Also beating Dawson. You know, we see a benefited from a DQ here, but even beating Blesse, that's a good win. Blesse, you know, not doing too great, but you know, able to get through and take advantage of it, and even beat Dawson. That's a big deal. I know that sometimes I think Bibit. It wasn't that Puff was that bad of a matchup, but it like the games would go close. So yeah, and then able to get top 16. Lunar Dusk beat Jmook. That's a big deal. Jmook doesn't quite seem very good in the Ice Climber matchup all the time, unfortunately. You know, just sometimes it's just not Jmook's day with that. But Lunar Dusk getting all the way to 9th place. Really good stuff. Dark Gen X losing early. We had Frostbite beating Ginger, but Ginger did avoid the double elim from Ices to lose to Eve's Blue right after. But a lot of Ices doing pretty well. We mentioned Dark Gen X earlier. I got outperformed by a bunch of other Ices here, but that's okay. Spark beating Frostbite, that's a big deal. Spark tends to be, you know, pretty solid in a lot of random matchups. And this is kind of an underperformance from Slug. Losing to None that's not crazy. But losing to Cola, that's surprising. I mean, Cola is a fast, smart player. Sometimes, you know, Slug is, I think, excels in some matchups. Other times, it's you're at the mercy of your Nana sometimes, you know. But still good runs here. And then, of course, Rat Monster having a better bracket thanks to Salt DQing because of travel not working out. But yeah, beating Lunar Dusk, being very good in this matchup. Also beating another Marth, showing consistency there. I watched this. It wasn't crazy. Like, I think one of the games was like a 3-stock. But, you know, I think he was showing that, like, even if there's different tricks to the matchup, he's pretty adept to it. And then beating None. This is a wild set. It was very strange to where, I mean, None just kind of has, like, sometimes in those, like, if it's a Spacey versus None, like, someone's gonna die. But when you have like a more floaty character versus None, it feels like it's kind of an uneasy kind of tempo. But Rat Monster are able to get that revenge from Full House and get that win there. And I don't think Rat Monster would have been, you know, like, this was a crazy upset. This was a crazy upset. I don't think that he necessarily would have minded facing Zane. But this did theoretically make winners finals easier if he was able to get there. But yeah. Rat Monster beating Sunsei. Sunsei was playing good. Not quite good enough here. But and then we had Rat Monster losing to Laud, which he did in the past. But beating Zane and then taking a set off of Laud. Unfortunately lost set 2 game 5, but MDVA top 3, that's pretty cool. And you know, getting that set and going super close. I think so many people were happy for Laud. It's awesome. You know, he's definitely deserves it. And Rat Monster, he'll get his time. But you know, I think that getting second place at Gommel is really good. And if you look at Melee Underdogs, I think this is a pretty good payday. Laud getting all this stuff. Rat Monster was able to get super close, and Seabass also doing pretty good here. People were making the point, I think, on 4-side fights, which I like that show. Sometimes I don't agree with the takes, but you know, that's how it goes. To where, like, a lot of this money is just not reasonably going to be earned, just because it's like, okay, Bowser, Kirby, Zelda, Ness, Pichu, like this stuff is not really going to likely be earned anytime soon. Like, a lot of this stuff is $100,000, but it's like, maybe it's like 15 or 20. Like, it's not nearly going to be the same kind of thing. But yeah, I think it's, some people didn't like it. I think it's like, oh, just sponsor players, just add prize pools. But it's like, look, people are allowed to do what they want with their money. And I don't think this is like, I do think there's potential for collusion, but I think it's all right. Like, as long as people aren't like, okay, wink, wink, I'm going to lose this to your mid-tier, give me half. Like, as long as they're not doing that, I think that's fine. And I don't think Melee people are really going to do that. Who knows, but I don't anticipate that. But, it's cool to see people get a little extra payday. Seabass getting some good wins here. Dawson and Magi, I think those were like, I don't know if Seabass has ever gotten a top 100 win. And, getting to, like, I think Dawson's top 50? At least one, like, top 25-ish level win there. That's pretty good. But our main character, Rat Monster, able to get wins on Laud and None. That makes it really, really, like, look how much green is here. Out of the other 29 players, he's beaten 20 of them. A lot of them in the past year. Like, this is crazy. And, when Game 5 with Axe, Game 5 with Jmook, like, I think could beat Ossify, could beat Joshman. Triff is interesting. I was looking it up. Triff has a ton of yaw riding experience, a lot of them being 3-0s. But, I think Rat Monster is pretty decently better than yaw riding. So, I don't know how that would go. And Amsa, we have some Rapid having some Daniel experience. I think would help out a little bit. But yeah, it's really cool to see. Like, not just getting, wins on the top. Like, yeah, having 5 wins on 5 of the top 10 from last year is really good. But, like, also just being really thorough below, outside of that top 10. I think that's the marks of a consistent player. And then earlier today, the 21 through 30 for the summer rank was released, which we have a couple players, None and 44 Cray, were on here, but he has a Ben win, also picked up a Casey win, altitude sickness, I think. But there's a lot of people he has not played yet, and Zasa being a puff that he struggled against, that would lead to the Thug finals against Zane. And so, like, this is kind of a part of the storyline where it's like Zasa mainly got here by, like, in this top 30 because of the Rap M wins. Like, there's other things as well, but that's the main reason. And we have a lot of spacies here with the weapon, Fiction, Ultra. Who knows if what character Fiction would go? Maybe Fiction goes Sheik or Falco, or who knows? But I would be like, it doesn't stop. I'm reminded of like Korean DJ in like the documentary, or like there was a post from HBox where he's crossing off people's names and stuff. And I think that's cool. Like, I think that if you have like, I want to beat everyone, and like beat everyone at least once, and you're going around, you're crossing off names. I think that's so sick. You're not just it's just about me, winning, getting paid. It's like, no, I want to beat specific people. Like, go out of my way to play them. Not necessarily out of my way, but like I want to make sure that I am putting myself in a spot to where it's like, you got no argument, man. I beat you. And that's cool. I think Dark Dynamics would very likely be a dub. Dial M, Rapid's beaten Junebug before. I don't know how, like, Luigi, DK, not a super common Melee matchup. But that'd be funny, just because those have been kind of the two main characters of mid-tiers this year. But yeah. So I think that's, as we see top 20, I think I had it written out, because I don't think Cody or Laud or Nikki or Triff or Amsa or Junebug, I don't think any of them qualified. I don't think Crike had good enough results. I don't know if Zamu did. But it was like Zane, HBox, Joshman, Moki, Wizrobe, Salt, Aura, Rad Monster, Jmook, Magi, Slug, SCJ, Moth, Sunsei, Aklo, Crudo, Kadoran, Spark, Ossify, and Axe? I don't know about Axe. They get top 8 at Battle BC, but I don't know how much they'll necessarily get him to top 20. I guess we'll find out in the next couple days. But either way, I'll update this and kind of the tally. Some people consider, a year-end ranking to have more prestige over summer rankings where you don't even necessarily count it at all. I think it's worth looking at. I think it gives a lot of details, and it's also like a little bit over half the year. So it's definitely worth considering. But yeah, Rat Monster is getting a ton of wins, and I don't see signs of stopping. Especially, I think is likely to play. It would imply Rat Monster losing to Zane, but if he did, he'd be playing the winner of Axe Jmook and then Joshman. So he has probably two out of the three in his path. And again, if he wins, it could change. But there's that potential of him playing those players and finally getting an opportunity. I definitely think that he has the potential to. Yeah, he lost to OKP pretty recently, but I don't know. I feel like he did get 2 sets to OKP's 1. So yeah, I also think seeing him versus Sheik would be pretty interesting, because is it just him farming Crudo, or is him actually being good against Sheik? It's kind of hard to tell for now. So I'd be very curious to see how that would work out. But yeah, no, man. I mean, these mid tiers, they're showing they're not quite that mid. I mean, even Joey Bats almost made it out of pools. I think there was a DQ involved, but that was cool. People are trying different characters, and it's working out for them. So I got to give them a lot of credit. And we got Supernova and CEO coming up. I don't think CEO has quite as many mid tiers, but Supernova, there's going to be a ton. So expect another episode. I think I'll probably do it after CEO. But there's going to be a lot of stuff. And yeah, thanks for watching.